George McKnight produced TV programs for Shaw Community Cable in Port Alberni from 1985 to 1998. As It Was and the Way It Was documented a range of topics and people relevant to the history and culture of the Alberni Valley. Thanks to funding from BC 150, celebrating influential women, seniors, and elders, approximately 50 of the original tapes have been digitized and cataloged and are now available for research at the Alberni Valley Museum. George McKnight's programs ensured that local stories will not be lost, providing a legacy of local history.
We're out at McLean's Mill, the National Historic Park that's unique to Port Alberni and unique because of the old equipment that's here, just as it was in 1926 or around that time when it was built. And in charge of this and in charge of the restoration program is Dave Lowe. And Dave, you'd like to tell us a little about this?
Yeah, this is the built in 1925. It started in 1925 and operated almost continuously until 1965. And what we have here today is a reunion of many people I could find that used to work here, and that spans a good portion of that time. In fact, Muriel McLean is here, and she was here in 1926.
So, would you like to tell us a little bit about what it was like when you moved here?
Well, I'll tell you, when we moved here, it doesn't look so hot now, but it sure looked worse then. Yeah. We used to have all kinds of company come out to see us.
I see.
Town.
Yes.
And Arnold would play his drums and I'd play the piano, and in that small little room, you couldn't believe it, but they'd dance and play cards or...
Well, that's what we did in those days, wasn't it?
That was right.
And this was one mill. It would be called a jippo in this day and age. But when I came here in '41, there were a whole number of small little mills around here, not unlike this.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say that I never have had a nicer working place where I worked than here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Walter McLean, who was my boss, so to speak, yeah, was a fellow you find very seldom around.
So as a child, did you go to school here?
Yes, I did, and I just met my teacher, Miss Aliff, the last teacher that I had before the evacuation.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she made it, and I still got the report card. But this was my paradise.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I started sawing in 1938 till the mill shut down in 1965.
I see. And you were sawing right up to the end?
Right up to the end, yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We lived in the first 3 years of married life, we lived there.
Oh, you lived right behind me.
Well, we lived there, when my family came from the east. We lived there from 37 till the war broke out.
I see.
I got married in late 39, and the wife and I lived in there for 3 years.
So, Horace, tell us about your time in the mill here.
Well, there was Johnny Hugaway, Tom Reynolds, myself. We walked all the way from Alberni on Margaret Street right to McLean's Lumber Company.
I see.
So Howard took us one by one in his office, and so we were waiting, and then we went home. He says, "I might get a hold of you guys." And that day at 6 o'clock, Howard phoned. He says, "Come to work tomorrow morning."
Well, I was looking after all the equipment, rust carrier, bull moose, and all the cats.
And the trucks?
Trucks, logging trucks, everything, yeah, yeah.
And you were working over in one of those sheds over there?
Yeah, we had in the shop, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this equipment that was bought brand new, these old Hayes trucks and so on, you're the fellow that kind of broke them in, eh?
Yeah. They bought the yellow truck around 1952, I think.
I see.
And that was a truck that was maybe older than 45, but it had been rebuilt in 1947, by what I could see, yeah.
If you want to have a look at some of the stuff that I sold to McLean's Lumber Company, I had to blow them in half in order to get them on the carriage.
Oh, is that right?
There's one there that's 10.5 feet in diameter.
Oh, yes. Where did it come from?
It come from Miller's Farm along the Somas River down here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They were 285 feet high, and I'd got 6 and 7 logs out of each tree.
Oh, is that right?
I had to have
you had to cut into it
7-foot blade on the power saw, and you had to cut in notches in there to get the 7 feet out of it.
Yeah, yeah. We hope you've enjoyed a little of the history of the 45-year operation of the R.B. McLean Lumber Company. Thank you again.
Some of the earlier copies of the As It Was program are also held by the BC Archives Moving Images Collection.